Okay guys, here it is. I was on the ground crying. I mean, completely in tears. I had broken down and was a puddle on the floor, completely sobbing less than 24 hours before my wedding. You see, back in the early 90s, I received my degree in art and I started a career doing a lot of stuff actually. I worked in museums, I worked in animation, doing PR and marketing. I worked for a lot of different organizations. I worked for Young Audiences of Virginia, Virginia Symphony, Virginia Arts Festival. I also did some jobs that were not art related, more analytical, left brain thinking. I worked for a telecommunications company, the largest one in the world in fact. One was a trainer and corporate trainer for them. I worked for a marketing for the official fan club magazines for Lord of the Rings, Star Trek, Star Wars, a lot of stuff like that. I even worked for the US Air Force as a contractor doing marketing for geospatial technologies. So a lot of interesting things. But it wasn't until 2002 when something really magical happened in my life. You see, I got engaged. Now, at the time, I worked for the telecommunications company, and I thought to myself, well, I could plan my own wedding. How hard could it be? We plan company picnics all the time. We plan holiday parties all the time. It's just a wedding, right? Yeah, I found out how stressful a wedding can be, especially when you're working a full-time job and when you have all these ideas that you want to see executed. And there was a few things I really discovered during this process that I wish I had known. Well, I wish I'd known then. What I knew now, it would be a completely different story. But that's not the big twist. Wait for it. You see, we were doing pretty good and I was working through it and I did my research and, you know, I was a trainer. So I took it as a project. And yeah, I even made little manuals for my bridesmaids. What is a bridesmaid? A bridesmaid responsibility dates back to da-da-da-da-da. I had a big fat binder with all the sketches and diagrams, timelines and sheets, tons of sheets. And I was pretty well organized, I thought. But I felt like I was doing okay until maybe a week and a half before my wedding. And then it happened. My mom called and, well, she asked a simple question. Do you have a rain site? Well, I thought to myself, well, of course I have a rain site. I tell them, you know, in my head I'm thinking to myself, we got this, no problem. I would never say that to my mom, by the way. But I hung up the phone. I just told her, thank you, I love you, I'll talk to you later. I hung up the phone and I checked the 10-day forecast. And at the time it was called Tropical Storm Isabel. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Hurricane Isabel when it hit, but it, even to this day, is still one of the worst hurricanes to slam Virginia in, what, 20 plus years? And, well, my wedding took place less than 48 hours after Isabel hit. See, Isabel hits on a Thursday, 2 days before my wedding. And, you know, of course, I'm an optimist. I thought, it'll be fine. We'll be okay. It's just a storm. It's just a really bad storm. It's a hurricane. We've had hurricanes before, no problem. And as a matter of fact, a lot of the meteorologists were even saying it's going to turn. It's not going to hit us. It's going to turn. So we didn't really prepare. Of course, it hits on a Thursday. Lights go out. I'm putting together 148 place cards shaped like chairs by candlelight. We had no battery for the radios or anything like that. Barely had any for flashlights. You know, it just happened. It was completely slammed, all of us. And the next day, it was beautiful, as it is after every storm. So me, again, being an optimist, thinking, well, maybe it'll be fine. Lights will come on in a minute now, it'll be fine. 8:20 in the morning, Norfolk Botanical Gardens call. We've experienced severe flooding. Trees are turned over. The state of Virginia has no power, like 2/3 of the state have no power, and and the governor's issued a state of emergency, so we cannot host your wedding. I was okay. I thought to myself, well, okay, well, no problem. We'll just get married in the backyard. We'll have a beautiful ceremony there, and then we'll have our reception at the hotel on the oceanfront. So 10 minutes later, the hotel on the oceanfront calls, and they say, we have been slammed. We have no power. We couldn't cater if we wanted to, and the ballroom is now a storage room. And I broke down. And that's when it happened. I cried and broke down completely on the floor, sobbing. Like those deep sobs and cries when you're a little kid, you can't breathe. When those, yeah, the ugly cry, that was me. And honestly, I really felt like everything had just completely fallen apart. And then something happened. Something inside me said, no, you're getting married. You're getting married. His family's flying in from Missouri. You're getting married. So at the time we lived in Chesapeake, Virginia, and at the time we lived close to a place called Battlefield Boulevard. There's a hospital on Battlefield Boulevard. I thought to myself, okay, odds are they'll get power to the hospital first. What else is close by that might be in the same power grid? Ooh, there's a Walmart. We get in the car, we go over to Walmart. Everybody's getting canned food and water. We're in the home and garden section getting vases and candles because we're gonna make the backyard look good because we're getting married. We buy a phone, we come back home, we plug in the phone, we make phone call. My phone tree starts going with my bridesmaids because of course they had the lists. And that's when the miracles start to happen, because right around noonish, Botanical Gardens call back and they say, okay, we're still close to the public, but we're gonna see if we can get a generator in the rain site, the old admin building. Are you interested? Yes, I'm interested. Hung up the phone, call. Another hour or two goes by. Botanical Gardens call back again. This time they say, we have a generator in the rain site. You're more than welcome to use that. But we also have we're clearing out the garden that you want to get married in, and we're gonna have the tram take people from the parking lot to that space and back again. Are you interested? It's like, yes, I'm interested. Call. Another hour or two goes by. The hotel on the oceanfront calls and they go, okay, half the strip has power, half the strip doesn't. We're on the side that has power. We're working on getting occupancy. We're clearing out the ballroom. We can cater your reception. Great. Hang up the phone, call. Another couple hours go by. The cake lady gets power that night and she could bake my cake. 95% of our vendors come through, and it happens, but it wasn't exactly the experience I'd always wanted. It is not what I had dreamed of and kind of imagined and worked and planned so hard for. And after the wedding, and I look back, I thought three things. Number one, I should have had help. I should have had a professional, because there were so many things I just didn't know or just missed, or so many resources that I should have had access to that I just didn't. And I didn't have that advocate to take all that pressure off of me and off my family. Now that my client never has to worry about a thing. That's one of my goals. This is your day. You're the star. I'm gonna make it beautiful for you. Number two, if there was something I could do to use my skills, my talents, my abilities to better help somebody, I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to use my talents. I wanted to use my skills. You know, I wanted to use what I have to make the world a better place and to make someone's life glow and magical, even if it's just for that one moment. And number three, I noticed in this industry that unlike all the other design-related industries, the use of design principles and design elements and the design process were just not being used. So I made up these techniques that allow me to do concept sketches and renderings and design illustrations and present them like blueprints so that my clients can approve them. So I bring that to the party as well, so to speak. And there you have it. That's how Rude Expressions was born. That's where it sparked. And I'm glad I'm here to share that with you.